should be live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a stream that was originally going to happen, then it wasn't going to happen, then it was going to happen, then it wasn't going to happen. Today, we are going to be doing a little bit of like a sort of live stream lore Q&A, featuring the one, the only, just hit 100k service, Mr. Halo Canon. Would you like to introduce yourself?
No, not really.
Okay, that sorts that out.
No,
That's
kidding,
a
yes.
nice quick intro.
Hello, everyone.
Nice quick intro. So yeah, today basically what we're going to be doing is I originally had an idea to do a video Q&A about Halo Infinite where you guys send some questions about like art style, lore, etc, etc, and then I answered them in a video. But I figured that like an hour-long live stream maybe would be a better idea for that, like a better way to do it, because honestly, I'm not getting many questions into a video, whereas a live stream I can answer a good 10, 15 questions.
They're saying the trailer's too loud.
It's too old, God, okay, that should be okay. Sorry about that. That should be right now. That should work. Hey, Chris Regan, what's up, dude? How's it going, my boy? So, if you guys want to send me your questions in the chat, what we're going to do is I'm going to pick a question, and then Mr. Halo Canon is going to pick a question, and then I'm going to pick one, then Halo Canon's going to pick one, and yada yada, and we'll go at it for like an hour. We'll see how we get on. So, fire away with the questions. This is going to be awkward because there's a little bit of a chat delay, so we're going to be sat here waiting for questions for about another 10 seconds. But, yeah, send me your questions, and we will answer them.
There's a good one right away. Do you want Mendicant Bias to appear in Halo Infinite?
Which
the obvious answer, I think, is yes.
Yeah, my boy Dom Sang thing. Yeah.
I think you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone who knows anything about Halo lore that doesn't want him to appear in there.
Yeah, I think, given Installation 07's history as well, I mean, he's not there now, and as far as we know, there's no remnants of him there now, but, like, given Installation 07's history with him, like, there's got to be at least something, like, maybe something like the Halo 3 terminals where he left behind a trace of him, or like messages or something, or I don't know, maybe there's like Halo 3S terminals we can find where we can find recordings from some of the experiments that he did, or some of the torturous things that he did. Something
Actually,
like
funny
that.
enough, today I was reviewing for my own video on Installation 07's history and connections and yada yada. I was reading through Primordium. Mendicant Bias's core that was on Installation 07 during his time there was left there. They removed like the data or whatnot, but his AI core was left. The actual core, granted, supposedly empty, was left there. So
in that big maze below the surface of the ring. Yeah.
So it's still there according to Halo Primordium.
So there's at least some possibility there. Maybe they could say like the echoes of Mendicant Bias are still there or something, or like some of him.
Or
some of him is
once put up the ghost of Mendicant Bias.
the ghost of Mendicant Bias. There you go. I mean, imagine that as like
Goddamn.
like a chapter name or something. The ghost of Mendicant Bias. Like imagine you're playing the game for the campaign for the first time and you see that pop up. Like holy fuck, it's getting real. But no, I feel like Mendicant absolutely has to play some role, whether it's minor or major, in this story if it's Installation 07. But I remember us both saying that a lot before Halo Wars 2. Yeah. And I mean, we both are fairly adamant still that the reason the Spirit of Fire got to the Ark is because of Mendicant. It's right now it is the only plausible explanation that I can think of. Aside from breaking the laws of physics and the rules of science, but you know, it's Halo. It can do anything. But no, Dom Sang, thank you. That was a very good question, buddy. That was a very good question.
Another very important one I just saw. Actually, it's like 3 questions, really.
Okay,
are 343 Guilty Spark, Arbiter, and Chief virgins? This is important. This is core to the Halo story.
Well, obviously,
this needs answering.
I mean, Chakass. How old was Chakass in Krypton?
I actually don't know. I know he was considered young, even by the standards of his species.
Yeah, I was gonna say because wasn't
he
Prekar, whatever his name was, the leader of the ancient? He was like fucking. He was old. I remember he was old. I don't remember the actual number, but he was old.
Like 300 years old or something like that.
Yeah.
I recall. Arbiter almost certainly isn't.
Yeah.
He's Chad. He's a Chad.
Arbiter slayed Bear Elite. Back on Helios.
And Chief almost certainly is.
Yeah, definitely.
There is one documented incidence of Spartans engaging in
Well, there's-
romantic activity.
there's
I
Maria.
don't.
Technically.
Oh, okay, two. So two.
Yeah.
So one instance of romantic activity during their training, and that was with a couple of the members of Black Team. And then, of course, Maria retired to have kids,
She had a
so
kid,
she's
yeah.
obviously she's gotten laid.
And Aiken as
A
well.
lucky man.
Aiken as well. Technically 3. Although he was a
Oh, yeah.
washout, wasn't he? He was a washout, so.
No. He was at.
Or was he not?
It was. Yeah, he was lost in like 2532 or something, and then rediscovered or 2540s maybe. It's been a while since I've watched Nightfall.
I just saw a fucking hilarious comment. Arbiter definitely claps cheeks.
Nice.
Fucking hell. Oh my god.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, that's...
Okay, so there's a small handful of
Interesting
instances, but I
question.
don't think Chief ever would. I personally like to think he's, like, as a serious answer, I personally like to think he's asexual. Not necessarily as a result of the Spartan augmentations, but potentially as a result. But I personally like to think that he just is asexual.
Yeah, no, honestly, I'd picture most Spartan 2s as that, really.
Yeah.
I mean,
for
there's
one
the
reason
whole,
or another.
Yeah, there's the whole sort of like rumor or like a myth that the
Fred got real close with Veda from Last Light.
Oh
Yeah,
my
he did.
god.
She rode him all the way down.
Jesus, not like this. Okay, let's move on. Let's segue into another question. I saw a great question from Max Attack asking if we think the game will be open world. I think personally it's going to be contained open world with linear missions. So I don't think it's going to be like GTA Fallout open world. As much as I'd like to see a Halo game attempt that, I wouldn't want to see a mainline game attempt that. I don't want a mainline game to attempt that. 'Cause
yeah, definitely not.
It'd feel weird not having a mainline game where I can go to a menu and select mission 1, mission 2, mission 3, mission 4. That'd feel weird to me. But I think sort of Destiny inspired contained open world maybe. Maybe.
Yeah, so you can like kind of so you can easily replay missions, but maybe during the actual process, like maybe at the end there could be something of a hub world.
Yeah, hub
like,
world. That'd be great.
Like ODST-esque, where you can kind of somewhat select missions in a non-linear fashion if you want, and they can be experienced that way. But there's also this central hub where you can go around and explore and shit, because that would just be cool.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Like, even if it's just exploring like a bigger version of a base camp or something, that'd be great. Like a bigger version of, like, for example, I know Halo 5 is not a great example to use, but like the Sanghelios camp, like if that was a lot bigger, free roaming around that'd be cool.
Oh my god, right?
That'd be great.
Yeah.
I want to give a big thank you to Eamon129 for the $2.79 Canadian dollar donation. This is all I got, but I love you, all your videos. Thank you. Thank you, my dude. I appreciate it. But no, I think we both agree on that in terms of sort of like a contained open world. I feel like it will be. But then again, like I'm not sure, like because the last shot of the teaser, granted, like it is a tech demo, it's not actually a teaser for anything directly, although it could be insinuating things. Still, I feel like that is at least pointing us in the direction of maybe it's going to be more open world than. Well,
certainly more exploration based.
Yeah, I think that's a better way to put it. I think sort of like how CE kind of had it on Halo.
Yeah,
because like I did realize this, but I never fully sort of realized the extent of how explorative, I don't know what the fucking word is. Halo is on Halo CE, because the map is actually a lot bigger than the game gives it credit, because there are so many like little like streams you can go down that don't have anything at the end, but they're still there. So like it gives you the idea of exploration. But no, that's a great question. Also got another $5 from Night Pigeon, and it just deleted the message. There we go. Oh my god, stop! It would be really cool if Mendicant Bias was the AI at the end of the Halo 6 teaser, and likely I know, but it would be cool nonetheless. Thank you, my dude. And
it very much would be cool.
I believe we've both. I saw on your video about the AI and on mine, we've both had a shitload of comments asking this. So I feel like this is a good question. For us to address. So, who do you think the AI is? Like, based on what next to nothing we know right now, who do you think it is?
I honestly think it's going to be a new AI. Because the way I interpret it, that what everyone seems to be thinking is a D. Oh, dude, that 117 donation.
Pirate. Okay, so I told Pirate the other day not to do this again, because he did it on the last stream. My boy. Pirate. Like... Thank you so much, my dude.
That's pretty damn awesome, dude.
Pirate is a very cool dude, but thank you so much, buddy.
Very clearly. Anyway.
Continue.
No. I was gonna say what everyone seemed to think is a D. I'm almost certain is a 0. Just kind of looks like a D due to the lighting and the blur, and it makes sense that it'd be the end of an AI. An AI serial number in that regard. So I think it's going to be a new AI. Either maybe they give some UNSC designation to chalk us as an AI, or
oh boy, imagine,
or a new quote unquote new Cortana model. So not actually Cortana. Maybe she sounds like Cortana, but it's only Cortana in that it's made from Halsey, a clone of Halsey's brain.
See,
I hate
I'm
skeptical to.
I've seen loads of people saying that, and
You're the kind of
really
fan I warned
it.
about in my video.
I don't know. I hate that idea, because the thought of you playing through a campaign with Cortana in your head, but it's not actually Cortana, but it is Cortana, but it's not Cortana. I just don't like that. Give us actual Cortana or give us no Cortana. And considering you can't give us actual Cortana, don't give us Cortana.
There have been some people that have been wondering if we'd actually get evil Cortana in our head again. I'm like, no,
please no.
No, that cannot happen.
No. Although you say that, I guess it would be kind of cool if maybe, I don't know, maybe there's a section where. If they somehow segued that in for like a tiny portion of a mission, like maybe then it'd be cool, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like
I need a weapon.
Yeah, I agree with you. New AI, Durandal. Calling it now, Durandal.
Yeah. Even at best, new AI. Honestly, I think it's more probably nostalgia bait.
Yeah, I mentioned that in my video. I mentioned that you so eloquently put it as nostalgia bait. It probably is, because that was like. That looked like another version of the bit at the end of Halo 3 where Chief puts Cortana back in his head finally on High Charity. Like, it looked like a done-up version of that, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I feel like you could be right there, but at the same time, I think somewhere, I can't remember where exactly, but somewhere 343 mentioned that there are Easter eggs for people to find in the trailer. I can't remember where I saw that. I mentioned it in my video and I was looking for a source, and I couldn't find it anywhere, but I swear down I saw that in an article the other day. There are Easter eggs in the teaser that point towards things. So
yeah, I'd be surprised if it was entirely a tech demo and not at all reflective, because at this point they have to be like in late pre-production at the latest in terms of game development. So
yeah,
they have ideas. They certainly have to have a pretty solid idea of where the story's going, models being made and finalized in some notable in some regard. So I'd be genuinely surprised in so many ways if this was entirely non-reflective of the file. Like even probably the most infamous at this point, like instance of a trailer that didn't have anything to do with the final game, the E3 2013 trailer.
I was gonna point that out.
That still has stuff to do with the game. It's set on a location which at this point I'm convinced was Sung Helios. It has to do with the Chief going rogue. It shows the Guardians. Did that exact thing happen? No, but it's still a mission statement of sorts, a indication of where things were going, even if we didn't know it at that point.
It's at the very, very
hindsight is 2020.
Yeah, exactly. At the very least, it's a rough outline of what we got. Like, it's a rough hint towards the general sort of like theme of the story. And I mean, the Guardians, yep, they were in it. Chief going rogue.
I was in it.
Big
desert locations were in it.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I mean, it was all kind of there. The only thing missing, the one thing we all wanted, fucking Poncho Chief. One day we'll get Poncho Chief. One day, we can all dream. We have £2 in Graveminds saying, I'm a monument to all your sins. You are, and I hope to God you're also in Halo Infinite. I really do, because I feel like we should address that next. The whole flood thing. Because that's a pretty big thing. Let me, I'll read off these donations, then we'll go through it. Geek Fam, what do you think is going to happen to Locke's armor in the return to the old art style? That's also a good question. Let's cover that now, actually. Like, before we get to the flood, let's cover that. So,
I'd say not just specifically Locke, but art style in general. Because there was a very early comment I saw about the idea of Prometheans being redesigned.
Yeah, that has me excited. I'm intrigued to see what they look like. Because
honestly, I don't think they're going to be that changed that much, though.
No.
They definitely 343 definitely has a story out for redesigning them. Because though it's not really communicated all that well in Halo 5, the Prometheans were changed by Cortana and the Warden.
Yeah, it's a brief offhand mention to like one issue of escalation.
Yeah, and like at the very end of the very first level, it's like these are the kind of Prometheans first encountered on Oban.
Yeah, that's the one offhand comment. Unless you read escalation, you're not going to understand it.
Yeah, so they're different types, and they could argue that Cortana and Warden further refined them, and they refined all these other aspects of the Prometheans because reasons.
Yeah, because reasons. I experienced a lot of Halo 5 because reasons.
But yeah, so that could happen, and then going back specifically to or did you want to say something about the Prometheans?
I was just going to say, I feel like the general shape and everything will be the same, the colours and everything will be the same. I feel like they'll just tone down the chrome, they'll tone down the floaty bits, and maybe, I don't know, I feel like they'll just tone down the stuff that people really didn't like with Halo 5, because I've never seen anybody really critique the actual design shape sort of the Prometheans. It's just the floaty bits and the overdoing chromeness. They're the two things that people seem to dislike. So
and the faces.
What you mean?
But they gotta go.
I like the faces. I think the faces look great.
I personally don't have. I've just seen that brought up.
Oh, you mean like the actual hologram inside, or is that?
Yeah, like the skull inside. Well, I would call it a hard light manifestation of a skull.
Yeah. So
they're like 90% hard light or something like that, which is why they disintegrate.
Yeah. So the answer to that question is, in regards to the Prometheans, then. Yeah, but not much. I think they will look slightly different, but I don't think they'll be completely, like, bottom to top redesigned. I doubt that.
Yeah.
In regards to Locke, I think, again, the same will be the case. His armor's not going to... If he's even in it. I mean, I assume he'll be in it. Like, I think he'll be a lot minor of a character compared to Halo 5. But if he's in it, then I feel like his armor will be the same. Just maybe a little more Gen 1 inspired. In the body specifically, I feel like they'll go in that direction, like ever so slightly, not completely redesign it, just sort of like maybe a little bit of crotch armor, maybe make it look tighter to his body, just sort of Gen 1 it up a little bit, and also get rid of a few of the over details. But other than that, I reckon it'll look more or less the same, pretty much. Yeah. Any thoughts on Locke?
I don't. If he is directly seen in it, I could honestly go either way, but I'd hesitate to think they'd actually redesign his armor.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good question though. Thank you, Geek Fam. Thank you, my dude. Matt Wallace donated $5. Said the best few Halo channels together. Indeed. Thank you, my dude.
Of course.
Kath Perez with a £5 from the HMS Queen Elizabeth. Again, my dude. Holy shit! On an actual what classification is that ship? I believe it's a warship.
Don't ask me, dude. I have no knowledge of. I barely have any knowledge of U.S. ships, let alone.
Yeah, ships have never been my forte in Halo and everything. But either way, that's awesome, dude. Thank you very much. Do you think we'll get any main characters dying? And do you think that the ancient humans will make some appearance? Yeah, let's cover these questions briefly. I think we should sort of save the flood till the last, because that's going to be a piece de la resistance. I can't talk. Yeah. So in terms of ancient humans, I don't think we're going to see any. But I feel like, those cave paintings that we just saw on the stream, like, I've got my money on that being ancient human from when they were on the ring. It has to be. Yeah, has to be.
If it's Installation 07, it's the logical choice.
Yeah, it has to be.
Or it's either that, or it's like, oh, those were done by the Forerunners captured there, or one of the other species that you never heard about in the books that was stored there.
Or it was written by Faber when he went fucking insane and he was found one night scrawling shit on the walls. I mean, that could be kind of cool, I guess.
But ancient human would be the most interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, to say that we're getting a simpler story, this is one of the things that I've always said. When Bonnie Ross last year said that the next story is going to be simpler, and a lot of the hardcore lore guys were like panicking, I was like, no, hold up. This actually gives them room to go even deeper with stuff, but just not in the primary story. Like, it gives them room to, in sort of like Easter eggs and stuff, to go fully deep, like as deep as they want to go. And by the looks of it, so far, we're seeing them do that. I mean, I hope they do, but so far it looks like they are doing. We have $10 from Pirate again. My dude, you're Cease, my dude. Thank you very much, though. And he asks, seriously, though, do you think Aatrox will ally himself with UNSC against the Banished in Halo Infinite? Personally, I don't think the Banished are going to be in it. I really don't. I think that's too much in terms of, like, main character overload.
Yeah. Like, at best, I think we could... I still think Anders is going to appear in this. And then, like, end of the game, they'll, like, jump over to the Ark for, you know, some story reason. And that's when they'll meet up with the Spirit of Fire stuff.
I mean, one idea that I've had in regards to how the two stories are going to cross over, because 343 said just before Halo Wars 2 came out that the story would have some sort of impact on Halo 6's story. So, like, in terms of that, what if, like, maybe the regular ending or maybe even the legendary ending shows, like, the continuation of the battle on the Ark, and then we do get story DLC, and it's you play as Jerome or something. Like, I don't know. That's just...
That'd be a cool thing to do.
It'd be sick, right? And then
Jerome team up with Isabel.
Yeah,
and then some damaged forces.
And then it sort of like intertwine both stories, because I do feel like with the whole Spirit of Fire crew still being on the Ark, and with how important the Ark is, I feel like the two stories are bound to cross over at some point. Narratively, they kind of have to, unless the Greater Ark still exists somewhere. Somehow.
Yep.
But no, thank you for the question, dude. My answer is I don't think either will be in it. I think Anders is the only one that will be in it, unless, of course, we get some blessed story DLC, which we can all hope for. I mean, after Halo 5, didn't Frank O'Connor say that, as for now at least, they didn't have any plans for story DLC? But, like, from what I remember, he emphasized the whole as for now thing. So
yeah, so it's always a possibility. It's just one of those things where it seems like I don't know that it would do so well, so I can understand why it's never happened.
Yeah, and even then, even if it did do well, still a small portion of people that buy Halo games and play Halo stories would buy it, and then if it did have any lasting impact on the story, people wouldn't see. So, yeah. We have $10 from Bruin as well, my dude. Thank you very much. My question is, from the look of things, is Halo returning to form and is a new beginning in a way of set? I completely misread that message, sorry.
I know what the ladies like.
My question is, from the look of things, this Halo is returning to form and is a new beginning in a way or so. What is going to happen to the series if this is the end of the Master Chief saga? We're also, let me just stop. We have $69 from Pirate. Again, my dude, thank you, but stop, seriously. And he meant created, not banished. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah. My dude, thank you very much. Seriously, stop, cease. Bruin, to your question, if this is going to be the end of the Master Chief saga, I don't think so. I don't think.
No, it's way too soon.
Yeah, like honestly, people say like the Master Chief's end is coming. I don't think it is. Honestly, I don't think it is at all. I don't think it's even close.
The second they went from Reclaimer trilogy to saga, unless they're rescinding that in some form with Halo Infinite, which I doubt. I don't see there's no way this is the end to the Reclaimer saga. Definitely not the end of the Chief story.
No. So, I mean, it's very.
It is kind of a soft reboot in a lot of ways. It does feel like it might be a soft reboot of sorts, in that it's going back to its roots. But we'll see.
It depends though, because like, I wouldn't really. Games can go back to the roots without being a soft reboot, because I wouldn't really consider Call of Duty World War II being a reboot, and that was a very much back to its roots game. Like. I mean, like, soft reboot in the same way that Episode 7 of Star Wars was.
Okay, like, where it's like, it's still continuing the saga, but it's this jumping on point for new people.
Oh, right, yeah, no, in that sense, I get you. And
yeah.
I kind of agree. Yeah, but I, personally, not even from a story or in-game perspective, I mean from, like, a purely business, real-life, practical perspective, Chief is going nowhere. I can assure you that Chief is not going anywhere, especially with this redesign, especially with this armor redesign. He's still the face of Xbox. He's still arguably the face of Microsoft's entire gaming division. I don't see him going anywhere for a long time. Even if Steve Downes retires, I feel like they'll do something. They'll carry on somehow. How would you feel about them recasting him?
I would not be like, unless they still had some vital story to tell that involved Chief. Like if there were, like, let's say that Steve retires after Halo Infinite, but but it's clear that there's going to be more beyond that. In that case, okay, I can kind of accept them recasting Chief because they need to finish this story. But if they finish the Reclaimer saga and then Steve retires, I would be against any sort of recasting.
Okay.
Particularly because after the Reclaimer saga, I want Chief to retire for a while.
Yeah.
If not indefinitely.
I mean, we've had this discussion before about Halo 4. Yeah. Like, imagine how sick it would have been if Halo 4 wasn't a Return of Chief. But, like, Halo, for example, Halo Infinite, the sort of, like, air quotes, soft reboot, was the final return of Chief. After 11 years, Chief was coming back. Could you fucking imagine the hype?
Yeah, that would have been that's what I would have wanted to see. After Halo 3, let Chief drift in space for a while, do some more experimental games.
Yeah.
Let have 343 find their footing. Like, if we had suddenly seen, let's say if it hadn't been Halo 4, but maybe Halo Spartan Ops, where you're playing as you're introduced to the Spartan 4s, this new generation and this new look of things, which is now entirely post-war. People could get, I think, would be eased into that a little better. And then, of course, 343 could say, oh, hey, here's the elements people don't like. When we introduce Chief 11 years later or 20, 13 years later, however many years later it is, we know what we have a good idea of what people like from this and that. It's
like the trump card almost. Like if things go really south, they can just whip out the Chief card and be like, just play it on the table, like boom, we've won, boys. Like imagine at E3 if that was the case. Like we'd had Halo 4 and Halo 5, or we'd had a version of Halo 4 and Halo 5 that had been received the way that they were received. And like, because before Infinite, Halo was sort of like, people were worried. Whereas like, if Infinite was the game that finally brought Chief back, finally brought Halo back to form, the hype would be insane. It would be insane. Like, but we've spoken about that loads before, I think. Like a lot before. Derp King with the $2. What's up, guys? How long ago did the stream start? What's up, my dude? Thank you for the donation. It started about 25 minutes ago. Yeah.
I need a weapon.
J. the Oki with £2. Luke is awful at Star Wars Battlefront 2. I'm shit at flying. That's probably true, to be fair. I'm shit at flying. I'll give you that. But thank you, my dude. $5 from Night Pigeon. Imagine a Halo game made by Telltale. Now, here's the thing.
I'll pass.
Yeah, I've got to agree because Telltale games have never been able to do action very well. I played pretty much the entire season 1 of Walking Dead, and some of the shootouts. I love the game, and Telltale are incredibly talented at what they do, and they've got like a real niche going there, but the action scenes aren't great. They're very delayed, and I feel like with Halo, action scenes are pretty necessary, at least in the most part. Why would you say no?
I generally have never really cared for Telltale's games.
Yeah.
They've just never been that fun to play. Could a point-and-click shooter, or not a point-and-click Halo game work? Potentially. It's not really the direction I'd want to see Halo branch out to.
I need a weapon.
This reason, the Coalition just announcing Gears Tactics.
Yeah.
Holy shit! That's what I want that from Halo. Dude.
Same.
I need a weapon.
I love those kind of games, and having Halo take that on.
I mean, we can almost get it because I think if you buy XCOM 2 and then the DLC, you can fully, like, all the assets pretty much that are needed have been ported from Halo, so you can practically turn that into a Halo tactics game, which is
exactly.
I need to try that still because it looks fucking sick.
Like, I might have to pick that up at some point.
Yeah, it looks sick. But yeah, the idea is cool, but I don't know how the execution would be for Halo because Halo's, in many ways, Halo's very different to other franchises. So I don't know. Maybe somewhere down the line it's worth trying. But aren't Telltale going through some trouble right now? Like I think their ex-CEO is suing them or something.
Maybe I haven't really kept up. The only stuff I know about is people their engine is seriously out of date.
Really? I mean, to be fair, it doesn't really need to do much, does it?
Yeah, but it has to do more than it's capable of.
Yeah, that's rough. But really cool idea. Question. But we'll see. Go on.
Yeah, that I saw that sounds pretty fun. How much of the controversial Guardian story elements do you think we'll see in Infinite? By the way, love the channel. Speaking of to you, of course.
Thank you, my dude. Thank you. That's a tough one. That's a good question.
I do think we're going to see Guardians return. Yeah. Not though, based on some of the stuff that's been said over the years since, I don't think they might necessarily look like they currently do.
Oh, thank God. Please get rid of that design.
Oh, yeah. The only time, yeah, there are 2 times where technically 3 times where Guardians have been interesting. One was the original 2013 trailer, though. They still kind of looked a bit much like an owl for me, personally. Second was in the concept art for Halo 5. And third was at the end of Halo Wars when their stupid face was obscured. So they actually kind of looked intimidating for a second.
Oh, don't remind me of that. I fucking walked out my room when I saw that. I put the controller down and I walked out the room. I was so mad. Because I just got into that campaign, like, and enjoyed it, but it ended on a cliffhanger. And then there was a post-credit scene. I was like, oh shit, it's not a cliffhanger, let's go. And then that fucking thing, dude, I walked out the room. I put my controller down, took my headset off, put it on my table, and just fucking walked out. I just went and did a circuit around the bathroom. No. My answer would be, I don't know, right? So here's the thing. I don't like Halo 5's campaign, but I like the ideas that it tried to present. I like some of the
execution
ideas.
over anything else.
Yeah, the idea of Chief going rogue and being hunted down by Oni, like, I don't know if I can quite put into words how perfect of a Halo story that is to me. That is, I mean, you've been able to tell from my Oni videos that I love Oni and all the sort of, like, Illuminati, like, behind closed doors shit. But, like, that right there, I've never been as hyped for a Halo story as I was for Halo 5. I genuinely never. And then it let me down. So, to answer your question, very long story short, I feel like they should continue as many as possible. Just do it in a more classic way and execute it well. Don't try and force too many main characters into the story. I actually have a question highlighted from Halo Legacy that I'm going to read out in a second that is very good and relates to this perfectly.
Oh, hey, Legacy.
Yeah, my dude. So, but yeah, no, as many as possible, but make sure the execution is good and approach it in a more, this is a really brief term, but approach it in a more classic way. Like they seem to be doing. So, before we get to the next donations, I want to read out this one question from Halo Legacy, because it's very good. With Infinite being a Chief-focused story, what characters besides him do you guys expect to see? Do you want Locke to return, the Arbiter, etc.? So, I'm gonna kick this off. Personally, I'm not bothered about Osiris. Like, I really like Vale. Tanaka, we've disagreed over Tanaka so many times. Tanaka, to me, is, I couldn't care less one either way or the other. Like, if you want to add her into the game and develop her and make her a cool character, by all means, go ahead. If you want to get rid of her and not have her in the game, by all means, go ahead. I really don't care either way. Buck is a tough one because I love Buck, but I feel like I just have this feeling that he's not going to be in Infinite. I don't know why. I just have this feeling that he's not going to be in the game. But I want Locke to be in there, and I absolutely want Blue Team. Whether it's in a large or small capacity, absolutely Blue Team, without a doubt. Like, at least, I don't want the squad mechanics back, because I thought they were awful. I thought they just impeded on Halo's atmosphere so much. But give us at least one mission where we fight with Blue Team, and I'll be a happy boy. Also, give me Arbiter and Arthas. Give me Arthas back. Please. 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 For the love of God, please.
I generally have a feeling the reason he hasn't particularly come back is because of issues with the voice actor, but that's my unfounded speculation.
Issues?
Yeah, not necessarily, not just like maybe the voice actor doesn't have the time to come back for some. Or
yeah, fair.
Like same potentially with like Lord Hood, which I'd love to see him
reappear. Yeah. Well, I mean, Ron Perlman is a very busy man now.
Yeah.
So.
But to actually answer the question, I worry mostly about Blue Team. Blue Team for me still needs to be the co-op characters and alongside Chief. More like, especially if they want to continue the story threads started in Halo 4, and they're there in Halo 5, but they're so obscure. It took me like 5 playthroughs to finally notice that. Oh, hey, that is still happening, but it's only happening right here in this one, like these 2 moments. On the gondola, specifically on the braking.
On the braking, yeah.
The gondola scenes. That's like the one moment where Halo 4's like Chief about feelings about being human and his issues with Cortana.
You mean that question about when we get to Cortana, what will you do? And then I think Linda says she killed billions of people or something, like that one.
Yeah. Like stuff like that, or it's like psychological tactics using my name.
Yeah.
It's like these are great moments, but they're so easy to miss, and they aren't highlighted right.
Yeah.
But anyway,
There's also that one little, to cut in again, there's just that one little cool
Yeah.
thing that I happened to notice again when I was editing a video the other day. It's at the end of the breaking where Cortana's approaching Chi for the first time, and Linda just steps in front of him. Like,
oh yeah,
really,
I
love that bit. Like, as much as I hear that story, I love that so much. Like, that sort of like protective feel. That was great.
Mm-hmm.
That was great.
So that I think Osiris probably get pushed to the side. I'm not too broken up about that.
Nah.
I think, did I just see Lair?
No.
I
In
think
a public server.
I think my dyslexia kicked in for a second.
Oh, fair.
Anyway, so yeah, I can see them getting pushed to the side. Arbiter, I'd love to have on, and maybe kind of like a Battle of Sunayon thing where you go into a mission with him and some Swords of Sung Helios.
Honestly, I'll
And
be
then you
shocked
split-
if
and
he's
then
not in
you
the
split
game. I'll be absolutely, I'll be absolutely flabbergasted if he's not in the game. And
The
if
real
he doesn't make a
question is,
prominent
how
role.
will he look?
My absolute begging wish is H2A phenotype. Oh no, begging wish is just a H2A Halo 5 prequel scenes. Perfect, literally perfect. Give him that. Gucci, done, finished, end of.
I think his armor more like Halo 5 for me personally, because I just like the opening and closing mouth guard.
Yeah, that was the one thing that he didn't have in the H2A cutscenes. I don't know though. Like if I'm gonna sacrifice mouth guards for the correct elite design, triggered.
Well,
then,
no, I'm saying you can have. I'm just saying you can have both.
Yeah, you can. You
know,
can. That's true. That's true. Also,
As much as I like the newer elites better, the newer design better, I should say, the H2A design is what he's supposed to look like.
yeah,
And
exactly.
I prefer things to look how they're supposed to look, regardless of my feelings about that.
Yeah. Well, one little thing that I need to request: if anybody from People 3 is watching, please, for the love of God, give him armor on both of his arms. Don't give him one of these like
just give him a
bare
cape.
arm. Please don't
him a
do
cape.
that.
Just give him a cape.
Yeah. Oh, that. Yes. Please.
Like
Give
in
him
the-
the escalation cape.
Yes.
That
That's what he should
intro
have.
scene in Escalation where there's like the lightning behind him and he
Yeah.
stood there on his own with the cape on. That was so sick. That was so sick.
that's right.
I've never been hyped at a comic before, but that was the one time, the only time I've ever been legitimately excited at a comic. Ever. But no, that was a good question, Halo Legacy, my dude. Thank you very much. Thank you for stopping by as well. That's good. John Wayne with the $2. CG Seiji is better at BF2 than you, lol. Yeah, that's objectively true also. Objectively true. Another $15 from Pirate as well. Quick publicity, guys. Get on Patreon to support the best boys starting at $1. My dude, thank you very much. Okay, seriously, cease. C-E-A-S-E. Cease. Thank you, my dude, but cease. Cease. Right, so, should we talk about Flood, or should we answer some more questions first?
We could talk about some Flood.
Let's talk about some Flood, then we'll get back to you guys' questions, because somebody asked a Flood question earlier about graveminds, and we've been wanting to answer it for like half an hour now, so let's just get to it. So, like,
Yeah, let's do.
in Installation 07, I mean, we are pretty sold on the fact that it's in Installation 07 now, like, it, kind of 99% sure that it is in Installation 07. That ring, more so than any, has so many connections to the Flood. Like, it's not even a coincidence now, like, that they picked that, because, like, not only the fact that all the experiments went on there and stuff like that, but also the fact that it's the only ring in the Neoteric array that was originally part of the Senescent
Senescent.
Senescent array.
Yeah, Senescent.
I always forget the name. Senescent array, yeah. So it's the one ring that was part of the original array that was around during the Forerunner Flood War, that was destroyed during the Forerunner Flood War, that was then whatever ring it was in that array was shrunken down to create Installation 07. But there has to be something. I know I sound like a fucking crazy man, like preaching about the end times again, but like there has to be something relating to the Flood.
Yeah.
There has to be.
Again, I was just reading through Primordium, scanning through it, and you know, there's been this idea in the community that they were time locked, but I can't find that in Primordium at all.
Oh, the
It just
graveminds
says-
or protos.
Yeah, the Graveminds and the Flood that was on there. It just says that the Flood victims on there, including 10 proto Graveminds, were left on the ring, and as it was deployed
Yeah.
and watched over by the remaining monitors on that ring.
Thing is, that, like,
So,
they should be
If they were
dead.
directly exposed, yeah, they are dead. They
Yeah.
are 100% dead, which is supported by hunters in the dark.
Yeah, exactly. They would have very likely seen one
Yeah,
on the ring.
but probably the most interesting thing that I found in here when rereading was that the control room for Installation 07 recorded everything about it. Records all its past status and everything. So, you know, maybe in a mission in Infinite, we could be finding the control room again. Yeah, one of those, flashback to Halo C.
Yeah.
And when we're in there, you could maybe, not necessarily in a cutscene, but at some point, you could actually scroll through the cartographer's archives, and that's where you get those flood hints, and you see maybe even they have a holographic display of some of these flood grave mines. Like maybe it's one of those flood mounds from Halo Wars or something.
You have no idea
Okay.
what I would do to see that.
I think I do actually, because when I read about this, like it was like 3 hours ago now. When I came across, I'm like, wait a minute. I kind of always knew this would be a thing with the cartographer, but now that reading it, I need that.
It would be like, I just can't see a situation where we have an entire Halo game set on Installation 07 in which the teaser has made very clear references to ancient humanity where we don't see Flood. I can't see it. Like,
Yeah.
call me narrow-minded, but I don't see it happening. At some point, there has to be, like, even if...
There has to at least be a reference to it, if nothing else.
Yeah, at the very, very least, there has to be a reference. There's also, as well, going back to those... were they protos or regular grave miners that were in the stasis or whatever?
Halopedia says proto grave mines, and given some of the context clues in
I need a
Primordium,
weapon.
it sounds more like proto grave mines than full grave mines.
I feel like leaving 10 grave miners in a ring might be a little bit risky.
Yeah.
Whereas protos
proto
are
grave
still
mines is a
very
little
I need a weapon.
it's a little safe, slightly safe. And they were all, but regardless, they were all. I think they actually used the word deactivated.
Okay.
In there.
Well, like, that's the thing. Even if, right, let's say in the small chance that they weren't deactivated and they also weren't destroyed when the Halo rings fired at the end of the war, we still have catalog in 2014 saying that the swords of St. Helios glassed the ring and contained any outbreak in 2558. Yeah. So there are three reasons that they should be dead. And I feel like it'd be a little bit cheap if they weren't.
Yeah.
But that said, doesn't mean
and
that
maybe at
there aren't
best one of them was
facilities.
put into a giant research facility,
Yeah.
so maybe you could get like that would be your one peek at a grave mine like that.
Yeah, they are definitely dead, but there's still the research facilities which will have Flood in them, like...
AKA the Palaces of Pain.
Exactly! It has to be! It fucking has to be! Dude, imagine if they...
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the Palace of Pain isn't a single thing, but, like... imagine if they took us to
we've been to a Palace of Pain, technically speaking. The Flood Research Facility from Halo CE.
We've also been to Lockout.
Or Lockout. Those would technically be Palaces of Pain. So
Exactly. We've been there.
So people have an idea.
What if you miss?
Yeah, exactly. So there's not... Yeah, Palace of Pain was just like a misconception by the humans that there was only one when there were multiple of them. But to be fair, with the shit they were doing to them there, can you really be surprised that them getting misconceived?
Yeah.
You really can't. We also have, let's go up, $2 a Monkey's Move, my dude, thank you very much, saying, do you think they'll bring the Juggernaut to proper Halo? That's an interesting question, because in Fireteam Raven, for those who aren't aware, the new arcade game that 343 released, there's an actual sort of remodeled / up-resed Juggernaut from Halo 2 that is, like, sort of put into the Combat Evolved Anniversary art style. Now, call me a conspiracy theorist, call me the Alex Jones of Halo, but...
Alex Jones of Halo.
There it is.
I don't want them turning the freaking Flood gay.
Don't turn the humans gay. Don't turn the elites gay. But no, call me the crazy conspiracy theorist, right? But I feel like if they spent the time to fully remodel / up-res the Juggernauts just for an arcade game, I don't know. It feels like a little too much for an arcade game. To me, at least. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong, but...
Yeah. I mean, given how many of the assets seem to throw in and reuse, they'd have the time, but...
Yeah, maybe.
It would be cool to have those appear.
But then at the same time, because most of the assets are reused, you got to think, why did they create a new one?
If they did, they could. It's entirely
Yeah.
possible they took the original model and just remade the textures to
I mean,
fit more with the flood aesthetic in there.
From the picture that Steven, or the videos that Steven tweeted, I'm pretty sure that they did do that. Like, it looks exactly the same. It's not an abomination.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they did. We have $5 from Kikudi saying, "Am I the only one excited for the possibility of Rhino Flood? Holy shit, the
Yes.
Thrasher form on steroids."
Oh god, yes.
That could be quite great, actually. Thank you for the donation, my dude. We have $2 from Hink. What book do you recommend listening to? I mean, singular book.
If you're just getting
tough.
into Halo, always start with Fall of Reach.
Yeah.
If you're just getting into the books, start there. Read in release order. That's the best way to experience those stories.
See, it does depend what you're into, though, because personally for me,
Like I'm just saying if you want to go everything, but
if you wanna fully go into the whole expanded universe, definitely start with Fall of Reach. But if you wanna sort of ease into the Halo books, if like say like me, you want somebody that reads that often, if it's not Halo, then personally I'd start with the Flood because it's a familiar story. It's just Halo CE, but retold in novelization form with extra details.
a lot of extra details and perspectives.
A lot of extra details.
Notably, I think your favorite aspect,
Jenkins.
flood-infected Jenkins.
Yeah, boy. The entire thing with the Truth and Reconciliation as well, seeing what happened to that. All that stuff. Like, yeah, so if you want to sort of like ease into it slowly, then I'd say the Flood. But if you want to go through the entire thing, yeah, Fall of Reach. Because that is sort of like the official prequel to Halo. And it's also very interesting to point out the differences between Reach and the Fall of Reach. Have fun doing that. You'll go crazy. We have $20 from Malcolm Heavy. Some rumors I've seen floating around suggest that Halo Infinite will be a platform to support multiple Halo stories, similar to how MCC was for Halo 1 through 5. Some more expansions on the story over time. Your thoughts? Yes. So we briefly covered this before, but I'd like to touch on it more. So thank you so much for the $20, my dude. I really appreciate it, and that is a good question. So the idea that Infinite is sort of infinite in a story perspective, that they can keep adding to it, I like the idea. I think it'd be great. But from a sort of like real world practical standpoint, if they made any of the DLC or expansion stories have a super significant effect on the story, then you're going to have a very small portion of your player base playing them. So when they get to the next game, a lot of the fans are going to be like, hang on, what's happened? Why is there a big skip? That's the only reason that I could see for them not doing it. What about you? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's where it kind of gets because where issues start to pop up. You just if you're trying to host everything through this one platform, especially if it's like basically everything added to it's going to be treated like DLC. Player base is just inevitably going to start falling off. So yeah. I don't know. I could maybe if they had the staff and resources somehow, and like maybe alongside your regular multiplayer updates and map DLC once a year, or like for 2 years in between main entries, they had some story DLC to kind of help flesh things out. At best, I could see that happening. Yeah. But even then, that runs into some potential issues.
Yeah. Here's the thing, right? I'm not saying that I don't want it, because trust me, I would fucking awesome. Love that. I would absolutely adore that. That's like my ideal world. But I just, from a practical business sort of like generic fan standpoint, it would be tough to do. Because like,
maybe I could see it happening. Like if these like
that was free. Maybe no one played it.
Yeah, I could maybe see it happening if they did like what was it? I want to say it was Dead Rising 2 where they had that story DLC, but it was something you could just play on its own. It didn't require the previous games, so it was almost treated like its own release.
Well, you had I think you're talking about Dead Rising 2 Off the Record, which was basically it was basically a non-canon retelling of Dead Rising 2, except you played as Frank and not Chuck, which I like that. I actually thought it was more fun than base Dead Rising 2, but yeah, something like that would be kind of cool. Like you go through the story again, but from the you go through the story again, but from the Arbiter standpoint.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Something like that would be sick.
Or even just story, some like continuation of the story on the side. Like
Yeah.
not something that advances the main story, but some kind of side story. What was the Arbiter up to? What was Osiris up to? If you want to, if you want to go those routes.
If they really are dedicated to Osiris, then that would be a good way to sort of give them more explanation. That's a good question, my dude. Thank you very much. That was a very good question. I'm still intrigued as to whether or not they would do that. I'd like to think they would do, but in a realistic world, it would be hard for them to completely nail it. Cosmos with the £2. Thank you, my dude. You only want Vale back because she's thick. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's not a reason. It's not a main reason though. Not even close. We have $1.99 from the Didact. Wow, holy shit, the Didact's here. Wow, I'm gonna watch what I say. Infinite looks alright. Could use more composers, to be honest. I mean, you're not wrong, Mr. Didact, and I seriously hope we see you in the next game. That's a question we should cover. Nobody's asked it yet, as far as I'm aware, but we should cover that in a second, because that is an interesting question. We have $10 from Active Genesis. How excited would you be if Infinite truly utilized its sandbox and made it into an open world game? Also, would you ever think that the base building in a Halo Online game would be cool? So we sort of discussed. Thank you for the $10, by the way, dude. I appreciate it. So open world, we sort of discussed this already. I would like some missions to be contained open world, like the second mission of Halo CE, and sort of like Destiny in a way, but not like Destiny. If you get what I mean. I mean, we've given our thoughts on this already, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not really, maybe in a spinoff, but I'm not big on open world games. Persistent world, kind of like what Destiny does, I wouldn't be too against. Though not necessarily for Halo Infinite, because I can't imagine running around with a bunch of chiefs next to you.
That'd be strange.
It's a little too it's a little too much. Like it's a
it
little
is.
weird just seeing a second you in Halo 2 and Halo 1 and Halo 2
1.
and it's like okay though, I can accept this, but it's like, oh, there's Master Chief 42119.
Yeah. Oh my god, there's XX Blaze at 420, Master Chief 42. But nah, I feel like that idea would be sick for a game that utilizes armor like Reach, where you can make your own Spartan, and it is sort of like you have like a base of operations, and you can imagine in a lore setting, in like an in-canon setting, there would be Spartans roaming around. That would be cool. But with Chief, nah, I don't think so. Contained maybe, but not fully open world. Definitely not fully open world. Also base building. Nah, personally no. Keep it to RTS. It's interesting seeing games like Fallout try it, but I don't think that would really fit Halo, personally.
Yeah, I think at best you could do something like an expansion on Dominion.
Yes.
From Halo 4,
Dominion, from Halo 4.
Yeah, where it's like you capture bases and then you build up defenses.
Yeah.
Which that was fun. I really want to see that game mode return.
I still prefer it to Warzone. It felt like a beta for Warzone, but I preferred it personally.
Oh yeah, I hear you. I think you combine elements of those two.
Yeah, AIs with like the AI turrets from Dominion and stuff, and like the special perks for capturing bases and stuff. That was cool. One of the only thing you will ever see me praise from Halo 4's multiplayer, apart from also what was it called? Extraction. Extraction was sick. Bring that bad boy back.
Extraction was. Especially, I personally loved it most because of the lore behind it. But
what was it? I didn't even know the lore behind it. Go on.
It's basically there's lore. Essentially, they're testing out like these slip space. What is it? Like basically a way to extract things via like instant slip space portal. So
that's kind of cool.
So that's why. Yeah. So that's what happens. That's why the stuff disappears. It's being sucked into slip space and teleported somewhere else.
That's kind of cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
You know my thoughts
it's a fun game. Like, hey, let's toss a little lore on there because it might be fun.
You know my thoughts on multiplayer in Canon, but that's cool.
We won't dive into that.
That's a debate for another day. We have $5 from Dat Boy. What if Halo Infinite isn't focused on Chief and 343 was able to find a story to bring back Samuel? I mean, he's dead.
Sam's dead.
Long dead. Like, what was it, 25 he died?
Back from the dead out of nowhere, so.
Yeah, I know. Sam, he was one of the first Spartan 2 in combat deaths, right?
Yeah, he was the first.
The first.
Yeah.
Nah.
No, I
Mr.
got it. I got how
034
he
is not coming
comes
back.
I know exactly how he comes back. In secret, he blew when they blew up the Covenant engine. It was actually secretly a prototype Forerunner engine that opened a slipspace portal to Installation 07, and he's been here there for the last 35 years.
And he's sat there at that campfire in the trailer with George, because that's exactly how George went out. There you go.
There we
Story
go.
sold.
We figured it out. Halo 6 is done. We already got it, guys. No need. End of stream.
Or alternatively, he just found a little bit of a super glue in his pocket and just glued the hole back up and went into space and survived. There's always that.
Yeah.
Kakudi with the 199 again, ID. Thank you very much. DLC Marine POV fighting the Flood. I mean, I still want to see a game based on either the ODSTs. I mean, actually, no, we've already got this. The ODSTs on Alpha Halo. That's fighting Raven. Also, I don't know. I feel like a mini game playing as Marvin Morbuto would be sick.
Yes.
Like, they'd be able to show the Flood in a much more terrifying manner with that, because going into the library as Chief is like, yeah, I'm a super soldier, so what? But going in as like an unarmed Marine, especially if you were the Marine that didn't have a helmet but had a little boonie hat on, that's even worse. That'd be good. That'd be good. Stamster 22 with the £5. Thank you, my dude. Aside from any form of gravemind, what Flood form do you sexually identify as? Oh my
Juggernaut.
God. Either Juggernaut or
I can
Primordial.
say, I'm the Juggernaut, bitch.
Jesus Christ. I feel like that has some outside meaning. Good God.
It's from X-Men 3.
Oh yeah, shit, of course it is. Fucking Juggernaut in that, yeah. No, ignore me. But yeah, no. Probably Juggernaut or Primordial, because technically the Primordial is Flood. Like half and half. We got $2 from Goku's son. I banged you mom.
I don't think Luke is your mom, but if
no,
you did bang, that's a little awkward.
Nevertheless, thank you for the $2, Goku.
I need a weapon.
I appreciate it. So let's get some more questions. Let's get some.
He's called Goku, but his icon is a Vegeta.
See, as a person that knows fuck all about anime, all I'm gonna do is smile and nod. Smile and nod. Smile and nod. Why do you think the community hates 343's art style specifically? I honestly like it and would really hate to see it go. It's that's a loaded question because there's so many reasons.
Yeah.
Like, I can tell you the reason that I don't like it, or I can tell you the two reasons that I don't like it. First one, specifically relating to Chief, is because they didn't give a proper canonical reason. It just happened, and then when they realized that people didn't like it, or some people didn't like it, they just sort of tried to come up with a reason. Shoehorned a really, really shit, if not technically canon reason in. The second reason I don't like it is because, quite frankly, I know this is all subjective, this is totally subjective, but to me, 99% of the designs in Halo 4 and 5 don't look like Halo at all. Like, to some people they do, and that's fair enough, because at the end of it, interpreting art is all subjective, but to me, very few of the designs looked like the Halo that I loved. They looked like the Halo that I grew up with. They didn't look like the Halo that most people grew up with, that most people know. They just didn't look like they fit the universe. But obviously, Mr. Halo Canon here, you like the new art style, and
I like aspects of the new art style. I like and dislike aspects of the old and the new.
Yeah,
but I think the main reason that people reacted to it as they have was, one, like you said, that it was just shoved in there without explanation.
Yeah.
There's no, like, I think people would have accepted specifically the Chief's new armor a lot more if he started with a Halo 3 look, kind of like we were seeing in Infinite, and then once he got to Infinity, he got an upgrade.
Actually, that is a very good point, because I think we can elaborate on this for another question that nobody's asked yet, but I kind of want to talk about.
Yeah.
So,
I think there's also a small sect of people that just don't want anything to change at all.
Oh yeah, I mean,
but because I've seen a lot of people say stuff like that in the weeks since Infinite's announcement, but I don't want to say that makes up a majority of people, or is anything more than a currently vocal minority.
I mean, I'm not going to say that I don't agree with that in some part, because I'm of the viewpoint that if something doesn't need changing, or if something's not broken, don't change it. Like, I know that's with art, that's all subjective, but to me,
you broke that.
They did. I'm not going to say that. They ruined the Banshee.
Yeah.
They ruined the assault rifle. They ruined the Spartan laser. Actually, no, they didn't. Nah, I take that back. I take that back. They ruined the brute shot by making it the boring concussion rifle. I don't disagree, but I feel like as a whole, Bungie's art style was infinitely more fitting, and I just preferred it more. But that's a purely subjective question with a subjective answer. So I hope I can answer it as best that I could. But from that, I'm going to sort of segue over to another question that nobody's asked yet that I want to talk about, and that is regarding how Chief is going to get his new armor. Now, I know that you discussed this in your video that you did the other day, which, by the way, if you haven't seen it already, guys, go watch it. It's a really good video. I was saying to him before we started the stream that I was going to make a video about Chief's armor, but Halo Canon pretty much said everything that I was going to say in a better way in his video, so I might not do it.
I say do it. I say do it.
He said do it, so in my defense, if I make a video and it's like word for word what he said, just not my fault. Not my fault. But no, so I feel like we should just briefly discuss how we'd like Chief to get his new armor, because personally, I don't think this is going to happen, and this might seem really backwards and hypocritical, but I kind of want Chief to start off in his old armor, in his Halo 4 and 5 armor, and then at the very start of the game, we get a sort of like Halo 2 armory styled mission where you actually physically see the transition from Mark 6 Gen 2 mod, whatever the fuck it's called now, to classic Mark 6 or Mark 8 or whatever this is. Personally, I'd like to see that. What about you?
I think that's the best way to go. My personal dream for it would be if we're gonna do like a hard canon like shift to this new armor, have some pre-rendered video that talks about what the UNSC's been up to since the created uprising, since we're seem to be skipping forward a year and a half. Then and during, like, maybe narrated by Chief, and then have some offhand to mention like, and our old equipment started breaking down, so now, and we couldn't find any ways to easily repair it, so we had to pull some stuff out of storage, or maybe he gets somebody says that to him or something on Infinity, whatever the case is. But as long as they have like some kind of like, how expensive this gear is, son? Tell that to the Cortana or something.
Tell that to the created.
I'd be satisfied with that as long as it's in game.
Yeah,
that's my big thing.
Yeah.
In a dream world, I'd actually like that you could choose the Chief's look for the game, and that canonically he still had his Halo 4 and 5 Mark 6. But that is my very controversial wet dream for this game.
Based on something you just said, I actually had quite a cool idea. You know how you said like there'd be like a pre-render cutscene of what happened in the year and a half. Imagine if instead of a pre-render cutscene, they did something like what Gears of War 4 did, summarizing the like wars and stuff.
Dude, that would be so awesome.
I would fucking love that.
The only reason that I don't think that'll ever happen for Halo, and why it was able to happen for Gears, is like Gears, like those models that they use are all present in multiplayer, so they have all these different ways to use them. Whereas with Halo, it would be like, okay, here's this one-off model for this one part of the game.
That's never going to be used again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
well,
I agree. With
that's why they use the Mark 6 mod for the Spartans in Halo 4. It's like, okay, we'd love to create the proper Mark 4. They even had concept art for it. I want to point out. Yeah, but it's like, oh shit, we don't have time to put this one armor in that's going to be used in this one place, and we also have to use this new armor here, and here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's like, and same with the elites too. It's like, oh, we could make the old stuff, but we have to use it for Spartan Ops. So
yeah. One thing, what was I going to say? I had a really cool idea then. Fuck. Oh yeah. So one last thing on this topic. For Halo 4 and 5, we've not been able to touch Chief's Mark 6 Gen 2 mod, whatever I keep forgetting the fucking name of it.
Mark 6. I just call it Mark 6 mod. That's the easiest way.
That was the Halo 4 one, right? And then it was technically Gen 2 in Halo 5.
Yeah, technically.
Yeah,
I think Mark 6 mod is just the easiest to refer to it as.
Sounds a lot cooler as well. Mark 6 mod. That sounds a lot cooler. What if, right, finally, people who give us the ability to wear Mark 6 mod in multiplayer as like a sort of homage for the people who preferred that armor?
Yeah, I could see that.
It'd be kind of cool. It would be even cooler to see Mark 6 mod with a crotch piece and with a fully black undersuit in sort of like a Gen 1 style. I'd love to see that, but no, that was a very off tangent point, but we discussed some cool stuff. We have £5 from Kath Perez. The HMS Queen Elizabeth is the UK's first new super aircraft carrier. Holy shit,
Nice.
that is cool. That is sick. Well, thank you for your service, my dude. Not my service, your service. How cool would an Operation Red Flag-like mission be with the latest Spartan 2s against Cortana? That would be cool. I feel like a lot of like old-style sort of like guerrilla warfare type operations that we saw during the early days of the Human Covenant War with the Spartans, and even against the Insurrectionists, would be cool to sort of like is it proactive or retroactive? Retroactively take them and fit them to the created, because very clearly, as we can see with the trailer, humanity's back is against the wall. Their gear is kind of dilapidated and it's old. So like, I feel like guerrilla warfare type stuff would fit that really well.
Agreed.
That's yeah. So
you said it.
yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for the donation, my dude. Deciding Night Gaming, is Cortana talking about Halo 6 and the Halo 3 flashbacks in terms of what? I've seen your future and I know your future. What is it? I've seen your future and I have learned. That one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Well, most of those Cortana moments in Halo 3 are actually the Gravemind speaking through Cortana.
And a lot of them are also withdrawn from, or are also drawn from the Cortana letters as well.
Yeah, but I just mean in universe, a lot of that.
Oh,
It's just the Gravemind fucking with the chief, because the Gravemind can.
Yeah, you can. May as well do.
Yep.
$20 from Great Scott Productions. Thank you, my dude. Great Scott. That is quite the donation. I apologise for that.
Scott.
That's better. That's more like it. We have $5 from Linda Underling. If they do a final Warthog run, what would be your perfect take on it? I want a Warthog run across the whole ring, but I don't know how that'd work. That might be quite a long Warthog run.
Just a bit. I could see a cool, like, I could admit, maybe not a final Warthog run. Well, maybe a final Warthog run, but maybe like you do something in Installation 07's core, and then you have to drive your way out. Like, I don't know, maybe you have to reactivate some slip space system so it'll take you to the Ark, and then you got to drive your way out while avoiding these subsystems as they're activating. So you're like driving through the core of the Halo.
You mean
like
sort of like the Halo 4? What was it? The fucking broadsword? Yeah, like the broadsword run, kind of like that.
Yeah, something like that. Except you're not necessarily under attack the entire. You're just kind of like the danger comes from like these systems that are activating. So it's kind of like an old episode of Star Trek where you have random things just like energy arcs shooting across the track, or random like clampers, or I don't know what the fuck you call it. It's like that doesn't make any sense logically, but it's just like, okay, there's an option that we need to introduce. I mean, why does a ship have giant things that are just smashing together?
Yeah.
They're not smashing anything, damn it.
Exactly.
In this case, though, you can have like parts of the Halo coming together, so like these systems are connecting to activate this slip space thing or something. I don't know.
You could even have like, I don't know, say somebody's in the control room, like ejecting part of the floor, like we saw Anders do in Halo Wars 2, like ejecting small portions of the ground, and then you have to dodge that. There's also the idea this is completely balls to the wall and out there, but we know that Installation 07's control room is significantly bigger than the rest of them, like it sticks out of the ring. What if like we had mag boots in Halo 5? What if we had like, I don't know, fucking mag tires or something, and we have a Warthog run? This sounds completely fucking ridiculous, but we had a Warthog run like down the side of the control room or something, or like from the top to the bottom of the control room. That, I don't know, that sounded ridiculous, but it'd just be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. Find a way to show us the true size of that control room, because I don't know if they ever gave us the details, but I know that it's just supposed to be a lot bigger. But yeah, no, my ideal Warthog run would... I'd like it to sort of like mix together loads of different sort of biomes, if you want. Like, go underwater, go through a desert, go through lava, go through fire, go through snow. Somehow, I don't know how, but somehow managed to do that. Either way, I want a Warthog run. Give us a Warthog run. Halo 5 barely had one. Halo 4's spin on the Warthog run was fucking great.
It was okay. I actually don't really like the broadsword run.
Tell me the bit where you finally come out of the trench and you hear that part of, is it 117 playing, I think, where you first see the Earth and Infinity.
There's an epic moment. That's kind of cool. But the actual trench run itself, I don't really care for.
That's fair.
It's too, like, the art style just doesn't really lend itself well to that sort of thing. I don't really necessarily think, I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, I know.
It just doesn't really lend itself well to that sort of thing, because everything kind of blends, the colors all blend together.
Yeah.
and I can't really see what the hell I'm running at.
Yeah, that's
Flying
true.
at.
That's true. It's too much like monochromatic grey,
Yeah,
and not the like detailed grey. It's all very flat. Not a
Yeah.
fan. We have £2 and rest. Thank you, my dude. How muscular is too muscular for a Chad deer? Those deers at the start of this are the ultimate Chad. They are the true rulers of Installation 07, I can tell you. Those boys have been
Clearly.
lifting. Those boys have been lifting.
unlike Chief, they do not skip leg day.
Exactly. I don't mind that. I think his legs are fine. They're a fine shape.
They don't really bother me that much. I just had to feed into that.
That little meme. That little meme. We have a question from Great Scott Productions. What if the AI at the end of the trailer is actually the composed remnants of the Didact as a way for 343 to throw a curveball at us? Another
I'd be
$5.
disappointed.
Thank you, my dude. You'd be disappointed.
If the Didact only came back as our AI companion, yes.
Yeah. Oh, in that sense. In that sense, yes. If he only came back as that, but if he was our AI companion, let's just say perfect world, the Flood come back on 07 from one means or another, and the outbreak is getting really bad, like showing signs of spreading from the ring to other rings and other planets. What if then we get the Didact as our AI? So like the two most well trained Flood warriors in the universe fighting the Flood at the same time. That would be sick. That would be fucking sick. At least in my opinion, it would be. I'd dig that. I'd really dig that. Another $5 from Great Scott. Thank you, my dude. Thank you. Great Scott. Thank you.
Yeah, I saw a
I
good
need
question
a
up.
weapon.
It was a while back at this point now, but it was what basically boiled down to release date speculation.
Oh, okay. That's a good one. Do you want to start off?
I'm still banking on late 2019, but spring 20 or quarter one 2020 at the latest.
2020 would be fucking brutal.
Yeah,
That would be...
I hope there's something else that comes out before Halo Infinite, but yeah. If it's coming out in fall 2020, then there has to be something.
Yeah.
else.
There
has to be.
Could you imagine if Halo 5 was the latest Halo game for half a decade? Halo 3 couldn't last that long. Let alone Halo.
Yeah.
Christ, don't even make me think of that. But no, I'm with you.
It's been, dude. You want to hear a bad one? There have been some on Reddit that I've seen. It was like, guys, it's not happening until 2021. I bet.
Yeah, people were saying that it's going to be. I actually saw a question earlier that I meant to answer in the chat from the Act Man, but it wasn't the real Act Man. Asking whether or not it will be a next gen title, and that relates to that. So no, I don't think it will be. 2021 is ludicrous. Like that's way too long. That is way.
And
unless
I think
we get
343 know it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm fucking expecting Halo Infinite 2 in 2021, dude. No, my speculation is fall 2019.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best. It's like anything beyond that is kind of stretching it. Spring 2020 is my first out, just because I could kind of see that being acceptable. It's like, okay, we'll wait a few extra months than we normally would.
I mean, I feel like,
but even that, I don't think that's kind of a stretch.
I feel like February would be the latest they could do it.
Yeah,
anything past
February 21st again.
Halo Wars 2. Halo Wars 2, 3-year anniversary. I feel like 2019, fall 2019. If it's any later than that, then it's time to get worried. It's time to get very, very worried. Let's look for some more questions. Thoughts on the introduction of a new alien species or faction? That is a good question, Schmat. Thank you, my dude. Perhaps the one alien species that we briefly see in Halo Nightfall. Oh, the Yonhet. Please no. Please no. Keep them away. Keep them away forever. No Yonhet, please. But no, I personally, we had in Envoy. What was it? What was the name? The Sharkway. I wasn't sure if they called them the Drinnol, or the Sharkway.
Yeah, no, they call them the Sharkway.
Yeah, I'd love the Sharkway to come in. I don't know how they'd balance them different to the Hunters personally. Maybe if they were like an actual mini boss, because in Halo 5, 343 tried to make the Hunters a mini boss, but in my opinion, it didn't really work. Whereas,
in my opinion, it worked amazingly.
Well, there you go. The duality of man. But nah, I feel like the Sharkoi would be a great sort of mini boss if they made them truly big. I don't know. I feel like that'd be great. But I agree. I want more species. I'd love the drones to come back. I'd also love to see the routine jackals, the Halo 1 through Reach jackals, alongside Halo 4s. You want the skirmishers back?
Oh yeah.
Really?
I want skirmishers. Yes. They were. I liked how fast they made. I like the unique way they moved.
Yeah.
I had fun with that.
I guess.
Much better than drones, which is just shoot them until they're dead.
I'll give you that. I feel like they were. Yeah. Give them fucking jetpacks. Give them thruster packs. Then you got a drones on steroids. I feel like actually the jackals are the one species where all three subspecies could be in the game at the same time and it would work.
Oh yeah.
More so than any of them. Like make the routine jackals the sharpshooters, make the Ibishans the gauntlet jackals, and make the skirmishers the annoying little bastards that you can't shoot. I feel like that'd work.
Yeah.
That'd work. We have a question from Silent Scrub. Do you think anything major will happen to the Master Chief regarding what the Librarian did to him in Halo 4? Interesting question. So,
I need a weapon.
No, personally, I feel like that plot point is dead and has been dead for a long time.
What plot point again? I'm sorry.
You know where the Librarian advances Chief's evolution in Halo 4 to make him immune to the Composer? I feel like that's a dead plot point. There's some really cool shit they could do with that, but I don't know. Maybe if they make it so, I don't know, when Chief sets foot on a Halo ring again, I mean, technically he already has done in Escalation with Gamma Halo, but if he sets foot on a Halo again, maybe the systems start to, like, I don't know, respond to him differently. Something like that.
Yeah, that could be fun.
Something like that. I don't know. Maybe something like that. But I'd like him to do something with it. What about you?
I would hope so. It's still there for the taking, pretty much, for lack of a better phrase.
Yeah.
And if the domain is still going to be a persistent presence, there's a good implication between Halo 4 and 5 that Chief has access to the domain. So,
I mean, we have the domain vision in Halo 5, so it's clearly something.
So, yeah.
Yeah. No, that was a good question though. We have a $5 again from Linda and Ling. Thank you, my dude. I had a weird thought. I thought would be cool. Is there any lore contradictions with rebels joining Cortana's Covenant or even the Banished? No.
There's no lore contradictions except it's not Cortana's Covenant. She does not. They're not a Covenant.
We don't know that yet.
But regardless, I'll bet money on that. But no, yeah, there'd be no there's no reason that human rebels might not join Cortana. Although you could argue like, they want freedom from the UNSC, but joining Cortana, it's kind of just a different type of dictator. So maybe not.
But then again, though, we know that they will do pretty much anything to go against the UNSC.
Sometimes, yeah. So you can have like those extremists that are like, well, you're against the UNSC, so you're cool in my book.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe I feel like it would be cool to fight human enemies. But only in small numbers, not too much. Only in small numbers. But no, that's
in regards to the Banished, I think the only reason we haven't joined the Banished is no human groups have asked to join the Banished.
We don't. Yeah.
Which, with rare exception, that seems to be the requirement, unless like Atriox specifically sees something in someone that's like, hey, I kind of need that.
Yeah.
Yeah. He generally waits for you to ask.
Yeah. What? Hang on. What was that fucking? She was a Spartan 4 dropout in Hunt the Truth that became a. Oh, Ilsa Zane.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Ilsa Zane. What if she joined the Banish?
I could see that happening potentially.
Yeah, maybe. I remember seeing a leak before Halo 5 came out, a really fake leak that was like, it was one that I told you about a while ago, where it was saying that June was going to be an enemy, and he was going to have like 4 enhanced legs that could make him like sprint at hyperspeed. It was in that same one where they said that Ilsa Zane had like a exosuit or some shit. I've still got it bookmarked. I'll send it to you after this. It's the fucking weirdest leak in human existence. But yeah, let's move on for that. Thank you for the $5, Linda Udling. Thank you. Hollis Cadley 3, III 3, the third, I think, one of the three, with a $10. Thank you very much, my dude. Master Chief and the Didact, in my opinion, are destined to fight again with either one or both killing each other. That being said, is there anyone else in your opinion worthy enough to beat the Didact? That's a good question, actually. No?
I don't think the Chiefs could even beat the Didact, unless not in a direct fight.
I don't. I mean, we saw in Escalation, his blue team got the fucking ass handed to them.
Yeah.
As they should have. So, honestly, no. I mean, we all know that if the Didact did come back and he was an enemy, Chief would kill him or defeat him.
I think defeat most likely, because there's there's definitely hints of a potential redemption story there that could pan out.
I want to see Chakass and the Didact meet again. Imagine that they both realize they're both alive.
Yeah.
That would be quite the meeting.
Yep.
Actually, do you want to? Okay, so I think I have one more thing I want to talk about before we end it.
Cool.
This is something that we've discussed a little bit. Relating to Chakass.
Halo Battle Royale.
I mean, I'm not gonna count it off. I'm not gonna count it out.
I would say hard no.
I mean,
anyway, but no.
Yeah, that is another discussion that could go on for fucking decades. So let's continue. So the one last thing I want to talk about before I end the stream is Chakass / Guilty Spark. So for those who aren't aware, Guilty Spark technically survived Halo 3. His casing barely survived. And then Chakass, which was the ancient human that was composed to create... wait, hang on. Yeah, no, it was composed. Yeah, it was composed to create... to become 343 Guilty Spark. Survived Halo 3 and took control of a human ship called the Rubicon and is now searching for the Life Shaper, which he thinks is the Librarian. She's dead. Everyone else thinks that it's Chanta Green, which was the Life Shaper at the very end of the war, the last one that there ever was. But
it looks like she's dead too.
Yeah, she should have died a long time ago on that weird planet with Bornstella. But
and their son that's doomed to never be able to meet other
Yep, doomed to live a nice solitary life, even though somewhere docked on that planet is Bornstella's ship. But no. So the thing that I want to talk about is the theory or the idea that Guilty Spark / Chakass. Guilty Spark is dead, but Chakass will be in Halo Infinite to a degree. Do you, like, at face value, do you think that that's even a possibility at all, or?
I think it's a possibility. There's definitely some potential issues, not necessarily from storytelling, but from 343's simpler stories and swim lanes comments that make me think it won't. But I mean, in universe, by Halo Infinite, it'll have been 6 years. It will probably be, I think it's been 5 years or so now. 5 years, or it'll probably maybe be 6 years by then. In the real world, since we've been waiting to hear about.
God, it was 20
Spark. It was
2015,
2011 or 2012 was when Primordium came out.
Oh no, sorry, I'm thinking about Frank O'Connor saying that there's still a story to be told, a redemption arc.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was 2015.
So okay, so good. That's good. I've completely forgotten about that. So hopefully he could show up.
Yeah.
There's good reason for him to show up, especially after all this time. So, and it's strongly indicated that the Didact will show up. So please make that happen.
Oh, that is a reunion that I need to see happen.
Yes.
That is a reunion that I fucking need to see happen. Yeah. Well, it'd be kind of funny because considering Chakass was the one to wake up the Didact at the very start of Cryptum, what if I don't know, Chakass was his AI was dormant on the Rubicon, and then the Didact woke him up. Yeah,
that would be funny.
little
or when he finally meets up with Chief, it's like, did you awaken the Didact? Yeah. I see you made the same mistake I did.
yeah, something like that. There's great potential there. Yeah. Okay, so before we finish, I'm going to read off some donations, and then I'm getting requests for T-pose, so I'm going to have to fucking T-pose.
Better fucking T-pose.
For better or worse. So $2 from Daniel J. Towards your Halo Infinite pre-order. Thank you very much, my dude. I appreciate that. That will definitely go towards it. Thank you very much. We also have $2 from Halo 2 or H2 Gaming, which I assume means Halo 2. Okay, this will be the last brief question. Can the Logic Plague still be in Halo Infinite? Yes, it can be 100%.
Yep.
Categorically, yes. Okay, so I'm going to have to T-pose, so... There you go. There's the T-pose, boys. Whip the T-pose, and I think we're going to call it a day. So thank you for stopping by. Thank you, Halo Canon, for stopping by. I want everybody in the chat
My pleasure.
to say congratulations to Halo Canon, because about yesterday, he hit 100,000 subs. And considering I would not be doing YouTube, pretty much, I would not be even close to where I am right now without Halo Canon. If you aren't subbed to him, then please go sub to him. Go check out his videos. Go check out his most recent video, which is the one that pretty much has made me maybe not do the same video, even though he's told me to. Do it. Do it. Do it.
You can do it.
But yeah.
Break his freaking armor down.
That must be Torbjorn. Sounds like a Mexican Torbjorn.
That's how it came through. It was a Rob Schneider. From like
Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider and Adam Sandler movies. Like one of them will always have like the "You can do it" line.
Oh my god. Rob Schneider is Cortana. Okay.
This summer, Rob Schneider will find out what it means to be an evil conqueror of the universe. He is Cortana.
That fucking Sandbox skit where he becomes just Stapler and the carrot.
Rob Schneider is a carrot.
Right. Anyways, guys, I'm going to call it quits today because my voice is fucking killing me. Hay fever combined with talking constantly for an hour and a half is not a good combo. So, yeah, thank you for stopping by. Thank you, Halo Canon, for stopping by as well. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Check him out if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in the next video, which will be coming out soon. TM. Emphasis on the TM.
Yep. And we just got to stretch out just a little bit.